Deeper! Find the heavy water! Find it! Post! Post! Up! 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 Build it! On! I need power, ACCA! Power! Hunt! Hunt for it, ACCA! Want it! Want it! 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Run it! Run it! 10, 2, 1, on! 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Run it! You promised! Run it! I need more! That's it, ACCA! More! Hunt them down! Hunt! Lift! One leg! On your legs! 2, 1, bodies! More, ACCA! More! Deeper on the turn! Getting ready to draw! 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 Post! Draw! Post now! No bailing! Paddle! I need more! Longer! In 2, 1, longer! 10, 2, 1, on! 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Run it! Go now! Go now! Fucking go now! More! 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 Now! 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 That's it, ACCA! Power! Hunt for them! Hunt! Go now! I need more! Run it! Run it! Fail! More! More! Push! More! More! Let her run!
So we've got boat one underway, which is CYL Yellow. Boat number 2 is Yarra River Dragons, red. They've got 2 crews in this race. Boat 3 is ACCA Waka. Boat 4 will be the other half of the Different Strokes. This is Different Strokes Gin. We had tonic in the last race. Boat 5 is the Sloths. Boat number 6 will be Marucci Sea Serpents. So Sloths looking resplendent and always in purple. Marucci Sea Serpents in that lovely bright yellow. We have the second Komodo team now from Komodo White. And now we have Pacific Dragons. DACCA. So we had ACCA and this was DACCA. Melbourne Flames are going across next. It's the Australian coach Surge on the back. And the last ones to kick off is the Yarra River Dragons Black. So we have coming up to the start line, to the first turning boys already, CYL Yellow, followed closely by Yarra Red, then ACCA, Different Strokes Gin, Sloths, Marucci Sea Serpents, Komodo White, Pacific Dragons, DACCA, Melbourne Flames, and Yarra Black. So we got CYL Yellow just coming around the top boys, but they very close behind them is Yarra River Red. And a bit of a gap then to ACCA, but Different Strokes Gin is just behind ACCA. So Sloths are going around the bend now. Marucci Sea Serpent's just coming into the bend. Komodo White just turning into the bend. Followed very closely by Pacific Dragons. And ACCA's about to turn in. Melbourne Flames has got a really made up on ACCA there. They've got a really high stroke rate all the way up that first 500 metres. And the last one to be turning into the first bend will be Yarra River Black. Okay, so remembering the crews have to stay in their lane, in lane one, coming down this second side of the race. So we've got Yarra River Red just catching up to CYL Yellow. So it'll be interesting to see who's got right of way here. A little bit of very, very close paddling here, very close paddling. CYL Yellow is just pulling out a little bit to allow Yarra River Red to take right of way. Yarra River's sweep acknowledging that she has right of way. So now we've got different strokes gin coming down the outside here of ACCA. We've also got Sloths sneaking up on the inside there, so Sloths will have right of way. Sloths in the purple have right of way, acknowledging that she has right of way. It's good cooperation between the crews as they're going around these corners, listening to the marshals. Now we've got the Marucci Sea Serpents looking good as always in the yellow. And right behind them is Komodo White. Komodo White looks like Sandy on the back there, so they won't have any trouble hearing their instructions. So Marucci Sea Serpents have got right of way here, so Komodo's had to back off a little. Now we've got Pacific Dragons coming through in the bright orange. And we've got Melbourne Flame just coming down the outside of ACCA. Melbourne Flame being driven really hard by their sweep. ACCA. So boat four's got right of way, and the one coming up the rear now is Yarra River Black. So Komodo has gone around the outside of that. We've got Pacific Dragons coming up on the inside, but Komodo's kicked off really well after that turn, and they're making their way up to catching up to Marucci Sea Serpents in boat number 6. Look at the sweep on Yarra River Black there, just going around, touching those boys. Beautiful turning there. Beautiful turning by Yarra River Black. Okay, so now it all starts again. So we've got Yarra River Red up the front there with CYL behind them. Different Strokes Gin has taken over from ACCA. And Sloths, I'm sorry I missed them. Sloths is up beyond Different Strokes Gin. Then we have Marucci Sea Serpents, and right on their tail is Komodo White, and right on their tail is Pacific Dragons. And we've got Melbourne Flames have gone past ACCA, and Yarra River Black is just coming up on ACCA. So we've got Yarra River Red just turning into the top boys. This is a good race, this race. They've all been good, but this has got really interesting changes of position already with some of the crews. So we've got Yarra River Red going around the top boys now, followed by CYL. And then the Sloths have jumped up there into third place, just ahead of Different Strokes Gin and ACCA. And we've got PDs now coming up on Maroochy Sea Serpents, I think, yes. PDs are coming up on the inside of Maroochy Sea Serpents. Then we've got Melbourne Flames. Yarra River Black is at the rear, but they're just behind DACCA. Alrighty, so we've got our first boat into the final 500 metres, Yarra River Red. And we've got CYL Yellow coming around, and right behind them are the Sloths. So they made up a few places. Then we've got Different Strokes Gin and ACCA. And we have Komodo White hiding in there somewhere. We've got PDs, yes, we've got Komodo White just ahead of Maroochy Sea Serpents, and we've got PDs coming around on the inside of those two boats. So very, very close racing up there on that turn coming into the final 500 metres. We've got PDs just coming on the inside of Maroochy Sea Serpents, and Komodo White as well. Looked to me as if Maroochy might have had to just back off there a little bit to allow a bit of space. And now we have Melbourne Flames coming around just ahead of Yarra River Black and ACCA. So 100 metres to go, 100 metres to go. Yarra River Red really lifting their rate, lifting their power. We've also got the Sloths coming down, catching up to CYL Red. So Sloths have made up position from position 5 they started, and now they're challenging for second position. Behind them we have Different Strokes Gin. Look at the stroke rate these guys have got. Stroke rate's amazing coming across the finish line. Yarra River Red. We've got Sloths coming down on the outside of CYL Yellow. So that's the Yarra River Red across the line, first across the line. We've had CYL lifted their speed just to get a little bit more ahead of Sloths coming across. This is Sloths Purple. Sloths Purple, so that's CYL and Sloths Purple. So CYL started first, Sloths started 5th. Now we have Different Strokes Gin. Different Strokes Gin lifting their rate again to come across the finish line the last 50 metres. And here we have now, we've got Komodo White. Komodo White just coming down the inside of ACCA, and on the outside of them you've got Pacific Dragons. So we've got Pacific Dragons started just behind Komodo White, so they've caught up their 12 seconds and a little more. It's getting a little tight here at the finish line, a little tight, but we've got ACCA coming through just ahead of Pacific Dragons, and just behind them will be Komodo White. Now we have Maroochy Sea Serpents in the bright yellow. We've got Melbourne Flame just behind them. And for the final two coming across the line, a real drag race here between ACCA and Yarra River Black. ACCA just ahead of Yarra River Black, just ahead, but remembering Yarra River started 24 seconds behind the others. So there we go. That was an interesting race. Great paddling by everybody. Everyone's home safe and sound, so that's what we're after. So a short break and we'll be kicking off with the first of the 500 metre races for today.